Tarot, Hangin with Aries, Astro-Tarot, May 2020, live on Twitch. This is our first live stream, and I'm going to get some tunes going here. I made some new music just for our new live show, and let's check out some tunes. Well, let's see. I have to go to my starting tune screen, I think, first, and then when I come back, there we go. Should kick in. Still learning how all this works. But Aries, thank you for joining us. This is going to be our first live stream of Hangin with Aries, Astro-Tarot, May 2020. And we have a whole new format. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be streaming this live over Twitch. And then after that, what we'll do is go ahead and upload those videos to YouTube, just like we do with the regular Hangin with series. So there's a lot to go over today. And we're going to get started. What I want to do first is just talk a little bit about the astro weather, so to say. I don't think it takes a genius or somebody who's all too sensitive to recognize that things are a little bit serious out there right now, and there's kind of a serious tone and serious vibe to everything. A lot of this has to do with Uranus and Taurus. Uranus entered Taurus in March of 2018, and will be there till 2026. Now, what does Uranus and Taurus mean? What is it? What are we talking about when we're talking about Uranus and Taurus? It's the last time Uranus was in Taurus was from 1934 to 1942. And if you remember that time period, most of you probably weren't alive, but if you look it up historically, that was the Dust Bowl, that was World War II, that was a lot of really intense stuff. A lot of earth changes, a lot of natural disasters. Uranus is the planet of sudden transformation and sudden changes, and Taurus rules the earth, beauty, things of nature. I don't know if you've ever been around a Taurus, but they're very grounded, they're very earth-centered. And Taurus also rules money, so hence the Great Depression. Now we're starting to see this in regards to issues like Bitcoin and issues around this whole virus thing. So we've got till 2026 to work through this. When Uranus was first starting to enter Taurus, it was when we had those volcanoes in Hawaii. So we started immediately to get a little bit of movement there. I'm going to slow it down a little bit here. And get into the general aspects for the month. So, if you guys are wondering what this is a glove that my friend Heather gave me, and she helped me because my Beats headphones, which are supposed to be super fancy, expensive studio headphones, just have slowly been falling apart over the years. And I love this DIY solution, so in case you're wondering, that's what that is. Okay, so let's check this out. We've got... here, let's play with some of our handy little tools here. We've got the... Let's check out the Astro ticker. Yeah. Alright, so we've got our software up in time passages. This is May 1st, 2020, so this is the beginning of the month. And what we have here is on the first of the month, we have Mercury conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So we have Mercury, the planet of communication and the way that people articulate themselves, and kind of this mental activity coming up around the issues that we just talked about with Uranus and Taurus. So I think that what's going to happen with this whole virus thing is right around the beginning of the month, there's going to be a lot more communication and openness about this, and a lot of movement in talking about what's going on and what we're going to do to move forward. And then on May 4th, on Star Wars Day this year, which is my daughter's birthday, happy birthday, the ships are grounded with the sun illuminating Mercury in Taurus. The way we communicate and think is very beautiful, articulate, and grounded. So we have the sun conjunct Mercury and Taurus, the sun illuminating our conscious awareness. And it's May the 4th be with you. It's Star Wars Day, right? But it's grounded in the sense that, Taurus is a very grounded and earth-like sign. So could be a lot of beauty that day. Let's see, you know what I can do? We're going to play with our new tools here. So while I'm in here, I can actually adjust this chart. So let's see what happens. Let's see, that was May the 4th. Now let's check out the full moon in Scorpio on May 7th. So I'll go ahead and edit that data. And I'll put the 7th. And that should update. There we go. It's kind of cool, right? Let's see here, and I should probably check my stream here. Cool, right? Oh, it's working. I can hear it. Okay, well that's good. How about the music? Is the music playing? I can hear it. Okay, well, that's good. Oh, all right. Just had to test it. This is all new to me. All right. Anyway, so let's adjust this. Okay, so this is on May 7th. We have the full moon in Scorpio, and we have the sun in Taurus opposite moon in Scorpio. And this is about becoming aware of your deepest desires and what you're going to do to be able to fulfill them. Everyone knows Scorpio, well, not everyone knows, but Scorpio is a water sign. It's very deep, very emotional, very honest. So that's getting deeply in touch with kind of what these needs are that we have on a personal level, and it's just an opportunity to really acknowledge what your needs are and try to find creative solutions and moving forward to fulfill them. And I think that with everyone being stuck at home, maybe it's a great time to kind of start weighing out what we can do to start making those needs met. I think it's easy to adopt this attitude that like, oh, we're not able to connect with people, we're not able to see people, and I'm all depressed and sad about it. And this is just a time to be creative. So anyway, so May 7th, Sun in Taurus opposite Moon in Scorpio. Let's look at this on the chart here. So I wish I had a little pointer here, but I don't. But if you look at the top of the chart, you can see the Moon there in Scorpio, and on the bottom, the Sun opposite it. So let's see if any other aspect. Yeah, it looks like we've got this whole Pluto-Saturn thing on the left side, kind of right in between it, actually, very close to being not a total square, but a little bit of a square. This whole ongoing Pluto and Jupiter aspect has been really interesting. Expanding transformation, and you got Saturn right up on it. A lot of responsibility, just intense times, you know. And I think in general, it's just a really good time to go inward, which I guess we don't have a choice since we're just sitting at home. But going inward and really getting in touch with your feelings and what your needs are. And we have some retrogrades this month, so this energy that we've had since the beginning of the year is going to start shifting a little bit, and that comes up on May 11th. We have Saturn going retrograde in Aquarius. So if you're in Aquarius, well, you guys are Aries, but if you have anything in Aquarius, it's going to be affecting that aspect in your chart. So if you want to look there, in Aquarius and Capricorn until September 29th. So let me turn my volume down here a little bit, kind of finding the balance here. There we go. All right, hopefully the music's not too loud on your guys' side, but just let me know if it is in the comments. Let's see here. So what do we got here? Oh, we got Honey. Hey Honey, how are you? Good to see you. This is our first stream. We're doing Aries today, hanging with Aries, Astro-Tarot. How are you doing? Oh, the music's fine. Thank you so much, Honey. Excellent. Well, thank you very much. What we're doing is our regular series. I do each sign for the month. So we're just doing Aries today. But if you're an Aries or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you. And then if you want to subscribe or follow, you'll get notifications. And then also I'll be doing general readings throughout the week if you want to come in for that. So anyway, thanks for joining us. We're just going over the astrology in general for everyone for the month of May. So feel free to stick around, Aries or not. And let's see here. So we just talked about the full moon in Scorpio on May 7th. And then May 11th, we talked about the Saturn going retrograde. So with Saturn going retrograde in Aquarius and Capricorn until the end of September, it's a time to evaluate if your friendships are healthy. And if you discover that your friendships are toxic, it's just time to kind of weed the garden, so to say. That's really the major theme with Saturn in retrograde in that area. Now, Saturn in retrograde in general is always a time when work can slow down a little bit. So you might want to see where Saturn is transiting in your own personal chart. But I mean, last time Saturn went retrograde, I think my business went really slowed way down for about, I don't know, about 3 months, and it was tough. So save up a little bit if you can. Maybe that if you get that government check for $1,200, sock it away, because Saturn in retrograde until September 30th, you might just need that month extra cash flow in the next few months. But again, it all depends on where it's aspecting in your personal chart. Let's see. Oh, honey's a Gemini. Well, this is the general astrological forecast for the entire month, so please feel free to stick around. Gemini, I've got my Mars in Gemini. I feel you in that. And Gemini's, let's see, what we just had a whole aspect for Gemini. Let's see, honey, what were we talking about here? I think it was, let's see, what was it? Oh, maybe I was wrong. Oh, here we go. Yeah, now this is your big thing, honey. This is actually great that you stopped by, because what we have for you is the next thing on the chart, which is Venus entering Gemini on May 13th. Moon is Leo, and I believe my rising is Leo. Oh man, you got a lot of fire going on here. A lot of beauty, a lot of passion. You must be a really fun person to be around with that Gemini. And your moon in Leo. Oh gosh, my Venus is in Leo, so I get the Leo stuff. It's very passionate, fun, playful. I've got a Pisces full moon, but I got that Venus in Leo, so I like to have fun. All right, well, I think that music's supposed to loop, but I didn't make it loop. So let's go back to I know this is not very fun, but I'll go back to my away screen, and then let's kick it back in again here. Yeah, that starts the music again. I'll get that all fixed up. Working out kinks, but I think so far so good. Honey says the music's sounding pretty good. Anyway, honey, this is for you. You've got Venus in Gemini in the middle of month on May 13th. So what that means for everyone is that all the aspects of Gemini are going to come to the forefront of expression. We're going to want to express our love and our beauty in a way that's very talkative and mentally stimulating. And then for Geminis like honey, you are going to be very attractive come the middle of the month of May. And keep your eyes open, honey. You might just find that special honey. So I can't wait for my birthday next month on the 24th of May. Ooh, congratulations. Yep, you're going to have Venus in your sign on your birthday. So that's all this beauty, all this opportunity for you. Take advantage of it from May 13th until, well, I guess you don't really have a lot of time to take advantage of it, because unfortunately on May 13th, the same day that it goes into Gemini, we have a Venus retrograde in Gemini until June 25th. So what that means is, specifically in Gemini, is that we don't want to take on too many responsibilities in our relationships. And be mindful of third-party situations. I'll just keep it as simple as that. How's that? But in general, Venus in retrograde is an interesting time because the things that we love and the things that we are attracted to, you can get really passionate about something new, a new person, a new expression, whatever that might be. And when Venus comes out of retrograde on June 25th, you can kind of not feel the same way about it. So say, for instance, you met someone because you got this new charisma because Venus is in your sign, and then all of a sudden when the retrograde ends on June 25th, you might just be like, oh wow, I'm not really feeling that anymore. I'm not sure why. But that goes for anything to do with beauty or expression. You could get into some new art project, and then come June, you're like, I'm not interested in basket weaving anymore. So anyway, Mars retrograde, it's like any retrograde cycle. It's best not to invest in outer activity, but to invest in inner dialogue and reflecting on your values and anything to do with Venus and what that means to you on a personal level. So it's not a good time to go out into the world and start striking up new relationships and things like that. You can go for it, but again, it might just be a fling. You might be over it within a few weeks. So anyway, that's for you, honey. Be mindful. Come the middle of May, you're going to be really attractive, and be careful what you're attracting. So let's see. I understand third parties butting into the relationship. That kind of thing happened to me. Someone I love dearly got swayed away by a toxic friend. Third party, yes. I think it's a very common human thing. We always, grass is always greener on the other side. We don't always appreciate things for what they are. It's a great learning opportunity for everybody involved. So anyway, just keep, have fun, be playful, but just know that your vision may change, and that applies for anyone, not just a Gemini, Aries, anyone. So getting on to May 14th, the day after. So Venus goes retrograde. The day after, we have Jupiter going retrograde in Capricorn until the 13th of September. I got this vision about this. It's kind of like, you're wearing your swimsuit, right? And the wave comes and knocks you off and you feel exposed. And that's what Jupiter's going to do. Jupiter's going to kind of expose you this summer if you haven't checked yourself in your work environment. So Jupiter can be really expansive, and where it's aspecting, it's going to really be around issues at work. So it gets expansive, your confidence starts building, you're just like, I can do anything. And I have Jupiter in the 10th house of career, so I know this, right? You can get way too excited about something, or maybe not be very clear about where you're coming from in regards to your relationships at work or how you're tackling projects at work. And you can get so self-absorbed and excited about it, out of nowhere, something comes around that you weren't being mindful of in your relationships with other people or dealing with projects, and it comes to bite you in the ass. So be really careful after May 14th with Jupiter retrograde. That's all the way till the middle of September. So don't get caught with your pants down over the summer. Jupiter's going to expose you. Be really mindful before you start work every day. Maybe do just a light meditation about how you can best serve the situation. There's an opportunity for growth that's going to occur. So it's really important that you take the time to reflect on that ahead of time and see where you can make improvements, so you're not forced to, so to say. So just be mindful about that. That's Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn until September 13th. All right, live stream. We got 18 minutes in. First one ever. Just trying this out. We got the new technology going. We're going to be doing some tarot stuff here in a little bit. Maybe after this, I'll pull an Edgar Cayce card. It's a lot of information here. So that's May 14th. So that's through the middle of the month. And then on May 20th, as our friend Honey knows, the sun enters the sign of Gemini. So we'll all be more excited, fun-loving, ready to get out and explore the world and your minds and create new experiences for yourself. So again, with Venus there, it's going to be a lot of new excitement. I have a feeling that maybe around May 20th, when all this new energy starts coming up, people are going to want to start getting out again. Maybe this whole virus thing is kind of starting to slow down. Who knows? It looks like it could potentially be that way. But with it at retrograde, it's going to be kind of like not quite right. So get out there, have fun if you can, enjoy yourself, but just be mindful about what you're committing to, because again, you'll feel different come a few months from now. On May 22nd, we have a new moon in Gemini with the sun conjunct the moon in Gemini. So we have more Gemini energy. A new moon is, I kind of see it as kind of a hard transition. But it's time to switch things up and give the norm the breaks and dive into something mentally stimulating. It's just a really good time to stop whatever you're doing, whatever flow you've been on. Take a little time to yourself, pick up a book, get mentally stimulated in some form. Studying, just, you know, trying to find a new direction in life, a new way to express yourself. Just reflect on that a little bit. And then at the end of the month, on May 28th, we have Mercury entering Cancer. So this has to do with improvements in memory, and being more sensitive in the way that you communicate, more nurturing and more compassionate. So anyway, so that's the general astral overview for May. That's just general for everyone. But again, Aries, what you'll want to do is go and check out your chart and see where this stuff falls, what house it falls in specifically. So if you look at the diagram here, let's see if we can go. I'm kind of having fun with all these new charts. So here's the chart only here. So if you look at this and you look at each of these aspects, each symbol represents different things. Obviously the top is the shape of the moon. That's a moon. The sun is below that, the circle with the dot in the middle. Mercury's next to it in yellow. So each of these represents the different planets or aspects. But the houses are these kind of sections in between, and it starts on the left side at 9 o'clock and it goes counterclockwise. So at 9 o'clock, that block below it with the 3 signs in it, that's the first house, and then the second, third, counterclockwise all around. There's 12 houses. So when you do that, when you look at your chart, you're going to want to see what house it sits in. The first house has to do with the self. The second house has to do with your personal resources. The third house has to do with communications and siblings. The fourth house, where the sun is right now, or at least in the diagram there, which is May 7th, that's home and family, and then on and on and on around. And then the opposite side of it is the opposite of that. So if your second house is your personal resources, the opposite on the other side of it is the 8th house, and it has to do with other people's resources. So that's kind of how the houses work. But you want to see what house it sits in, because that will be influencing that aspect of your life. They're like, it's kind of like the 12 major aspects of your life. Anyway, taking a little sip here. So let's do there's our cards. Playing with the cameras here. So anyway, those are our tarot cards. Got them all mixed up, and I'm gonna start mixing them up. We do both astrology and tarot for Aries. Our Hangin with is just a chilled back opportunity to hang out and just talk astrology and tarot. Hope you guys are doing good with all this wacky stuff going on. A little different view of the tarot. And honey, if you want to reach out to me at all on streetlevelspirituality@gmail.com. I can set up a time to do a reading for you free of charge. Thanks for stopping by. Happy to do that for you. Just shoot me an email and we can set up a time. Okay. Alright, so let's just mix up these cards a little bit. This is for Aries, May 2020. Oh, I got cards flipping out everywhere. Let's do there we go. Let's mix it up. There you go. Got the double view there. That's kind of fun, huh? And this music playing in the background is some background music I made. So if you like it, either if you're on Twitch live with me right now, there's a music button down below. And you can check out some of my other music. It's kind of more wacky, interesting, spiritual music with an upbeat, funky vibe. Oh yeah, I don't have the music looping. I just did that again. All right, let's do... There we go, start the music again. All right, well, I'm gonna go in. Let's just go ahead and fix that now so we don't have to keep doing that. Let's go into music. And loop, there we go. All right, so what I was gonna do is first pull an Edgar Cayce card for you. So for Aries, May 2020. These are the Edgar Cayce cards here. Let's mix them up a little bit. It's kind of cool. It's the first time using my new streaming setup. It took me about a week to get this thing set up. And it's really cool. I like it. It's fun. So, Edgar Cayce, if you're not familiar with him, is the sleeping prophet. And he lived in the early 1900s. And he had a throat condition, and as a last resort, they used hypnosis as an opportunity to try to see if they could solve his throat issue. And sure enough, he went under, and his higher self, or some aspect of his subconscious, started speaking out loud, and it was speaking with wisdom of kind of the universe, so to say, and was able to diagnose him. And since then, did a lot of readings, life readings, health readings, stuff like that. And his work has a lot to do with the human condition and just creating goodness in the world. There's the kombucha. Earlier, right before I started, I walked to the kitchen and I spilt it on the ground. There's nothing like the smell of kombucha on the ground. All right, so let's pull a card for you. Blah, 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 blah. All right, let's see, right there. There we go. Okay, so let's see if we can get this. I don't really have a zoom or anything like that, but let's see if I go to... I think if I go to this view, it's about the same. A little bigger. All right, so a little too bright there. All right, it says your message for May 2020, Aries, is keep the fires of love burning in thy hearts day by day. For the love of God is manifested in the earth through those that are just, kind, one to another. His language is always kind of weird, but I'll read it one more time for you. Keep the fires... Here, let's hold it up. You can hold it up higher, right? Where's the camera? There we go. There we go. Keep the fires of love burning in thy hearts day by day. For the love of God is manifested in the earth through those that are just kind one to another. Sweet. That's a sweet message, right? All right, that's your message for May 2020. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put this card over here, and let's do your tarot reading now for May 2020. Already shuffled a little bit here. Hope you guys are doing good. It's kind of different out there, isn't it? A lot of changes. Alrighty. And... minutes, huh? Alright, let's go ahead and break this up, and then let's do... Oops, I'm kind of trying to learn how to do this with my Astrology Tarot reading. There we go. Tarot reading, okay. So, break that into 3 piles, huh? 3 piles. Pull the middle one up. And there's your deck. Okay, let's check out the nature reading here. Let's move that. I already did your Astrology notes. Okay, so nature of the reading is the Lovers in reverse. This is for Aries 2020. Okay, and then we've got the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. So the Lovers in reverse has to do with values. Sometimes we can be in relationships with people and we're not totally sure if your values match, but you kind of end up finding out in the long run because you know how that works. Let's go to this screen for a little bit, so I don't have to worry about the funny looks on my face. Have a sip of this kombucha. So let's get the cards out and start talking about Ten of Pentacles in reverse. It could be a sense of isolation or material loss in some sense. So I'm getting the feeling that you may have had a relationship or something symbolic of a relationship where you were gaining something from the situation, and then now that's gone. And on the spiritual realms, we have the King of Pentacles, a lot of Pentacles. Let's move this over a little bit. I'm trying to figure out how this works here for sizing, but I think that's about right. In the spiritual realms, you have the King of Pentacles. In the recent past, we have the Tower in reverse, which is interesting. That means, well, it's the opposite of the Tower, which is usually destruction. So it looks like you avoided a disaster, or you might be feeling like even though that your values aren't aligned with somebody else or something, that without it, you're kind of having this fear of change. But that's in the recent past, so let's see where this is heading. Page of Swords. Let's just go and get all the cards out here. Come in the future. Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of reverse cards here. Oh my gosh, all of them. Okay, let's see. How are we in? Can we see everything? Okay. Well, that's interesting. I mix these cards up in every direction, and you've got a lot of reverse cards here. Yeah, you can see everything on the screen, right? That's pretty good. So anyway, let's look at the cards here. And let's see what we have here. We have some issues with values. We have the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is all about, you know, discipline. It's kind of like the man with money who earned it through discipline. You know, this is, you don't gain and create reserves and able to retain resources without deep maturity and deep discipline that comes through experience. That's in your spiritual realm, so it's like this message coming down. And I think what I'm getting out of this is that there's some sort of relationship or some sort of dynamic you have going with somebody. And here, let's pull this microphone over here a little bit. Just got this mic arm here. How does that work if I... No, let's just try this. Okay, so anyway, so it looks like what you have here is you have the Lovers in reverse. There's some sort of issues around values. You're not connecting on the same value system. Now, to me personally, that's a deal breaker. I think that when it comes to values, that is the very basis of whether a relationship is going to function or not. So I'm not necessarily feeling very positive about this situation that you're in, Aries. You may have gotten into something and now you're like, oh shit, there's things that aren't aligning. Again, what's influencing the issue here is this some sort of like financial dependency. Let's see, what is that, the 10? Yeah, so a sense of loneliness or financial loss, or like I said, in the spiritual realms, you're being asked to apply discipline to the situation with your own personal resources. So I think you've kind of been leaning on someone, and this provides an opportunity for you to kind of set the record straight, recognize that the values aren't necessarily aligned, and really start being more self-reliant. Again, in the past, you did avoid some sort of trial or tribulation. So it's not to say that where you are now wasn't the right path for the right reasons. It's just that you're addressing something new in that regard. In regards to the Page of Swords, in the subconscious, is that deep within yourself, you may just kind of have a lack of direction in general. It's the Page of Swords. In reverse, it's just kind of lacking direction, mental focus. You're not sure where to go next, and it may be a time just to kind of wait a little bit. But it's just really, really time to get focused on getting your resources in line. Let's see here. And then this is the thing I was a little bit concerned about, is that here in the upcoming future here, you have the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups in reverse has a lot to do with emotional security. And I think you're tying in your emotional security with your material security. And what happens is when that material security goes away, so does your stability emotionally. This can be a somewhat dependent type energy. So again, this message from the spiritual realms of the King of Pentacles is really where you want to focus your energies right now. And that's just getting your ducks in a row. That's making sure that you can pay your bills on your own and take care of yourself on your own, because that's going to bring the emotional stability that you need to really move past this situation and really empower yourself. So your attitude in this situation is the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And this is, I mean, basically there's some sort of imbalance between family and work, balancing your career. You could be at home working because of these, the times that we're in, and be pushing too much on avoiding your family because you're working, or the opposite, where you're just having fun playing on the Xbox and not really getting your work done. So that's your attitude in this situation. And we want to avoid extremes. We want to, one of the ways that we learn patience, which is the whole reason that time and space is here to begin with, is the mastery of patience, is to avoid extremes. So we don't take anything too far, whether it's good or bad, so to say. We just do what's needed, and then we move forward when we need to. And that's symbolized by, for instance, like, do your work for 8 hours, do your family time for so many hours, bathe, wash, brush your teeth, make sure you're making good meals for yourself. You have to balance those things out. So work all the time, not good. Family all the time, or playing all the time, not good either. So that is your attitude in the situation. Okay, so then we got Five of Swords, and this is your environment. So this could mean a couple things. This could mean that you're kind of open for new directions and new changes mentally, or that there's some sort of resentment around you. I don't know if this has to do with this relationship. There's some sort of resentment going on, but your values aren't aligned. I'm not surprised if there's some sort of resentment, and I think you just kind of want to slowly detangle, in my opinion. I think you might have had a vision for something that's not really panning out to be what you expected it to be. So your greatest hopes and greatest fears is the Ten of Wands, and the Ten of Wands up here. And this is either taking on or avoiding responsibility. So greatest hopes and greatest fears, you don't want to take on too much responsibility. I think it sounds to me like you've been kind of getting floated a little bit in some way or another, emotionally, material, whatever it might be. And you're worried about having to go out on your own. That's your greatest hopes and greatest fears. That's not necessarily what's going to happen. That's just kind of greatest hopes and greatest fears. Now for the outcome here, we have a pretty powerful card. We have the Magician, but the Magician is in reverse. So, what I'm really getting here is that you're not living up to your potential. That you've kind of gotten comfortable with resources from other places, whether it be emotionally or materially, and you have a lot to offer. Now, in the upright position, the magician has all the tools he needs. He's got the pentacles, right? He's got the cups, he's got the sword, and he's got the wand, and he's got an infinity above his head. He's come to the earth, he's recognized his resources, and he knows how to take advantage of them and use them appropriately with a spiritual focus so it doesn't come back to bite him in the ass. Everything we create, we are responsible for. So what we do is we create from a place of love, grace, forgiveness, kindness, gentleness. And when we do that, we can create anything within those parameters and have it be growth and a reflection back to us that benefits us. Now, in reverse, this is somebody who's not taking advantage of their tools and resources or knows how to take advantage of it. And I really think what I'm feeling is just basically is just you've just gotten a little bit comfortable and you're a little bit concerned about moving forward on your own path and empowering yourself because you've been getting your power somewhere else. So I would say really the overall card for you this reading to really focus on is the King of Pentacles. And again, the King of Pentacles is that kind of disciplined maturity about managing your resources. Sometimes if we rely too much on material resources for our happiness or a sense of security, obviously if that changes, that affects our security also. But it becomes hard to spend time with yourself. It becomes hard to spend time quiet in nature because we're so used to relying on outside things to fulfill us. So this is a great opportunity to go inward, cook for yourself, spend some time by yourself, spend some time in nature, and just let the emotions move through you and work on breathing exercises. You can massage your solar plexus. You can exhaust yourself physically. And the other things you can do is give. So call a friend and listen. Ask them about how they're doing. Those same types of things will really start balancing this kind of energy. And again, just manage your resources. So anyway, Aries, I do tarot for spiritual growth. Let's go to this one here. No, let's go to this one. I don't know what I'm doing. Things everywhere. Anyway, Aries, thank you very much. I do tarot and astrology for spiritual growth. I know a lot of people on YouTube or I'm not sure about Twitch, but you'll see a lot of these readers that kind of tell you what you want to hear, and I'm just here to be honest about what I see for your best practical growth. I figure if we go there first, then we're able to kind of get to the root of the issue and kind of really address it head on, get it out of the way, and then we can move right into the free-flowing energy and the love and the support and the goodness that comes out of focusing in the right direction. So anyway, a lot of things going on this next month in May 2020. Thanks for joining me. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to sign up if you want to see these live streams as they're happening and get notifications, go to twitch.com/streetlevelspirituality. It's in the feed thing in the bottom here, and I'll also put it in the link at the bottom of YouTube. If you're on Twitch, thanks for coming by and checking out the videos. Again, with you, follow, you'll get those notifications. And on YouTube, I also do a lot of original content that's not live streamed, content about spiritual topics, speculative prehistory, all sorts of interesting stuff. So anyway, check me out on YouTube, check me out on Twitch, check me out on Facebook. And there's a lot of writing on Facebook. I kind of do different things at different places, so please check out all three of those. There should be links below for all of those. I hope you guys are hanging in there. It's a unique time out there. Keep focused on the love, the support, the grace, and the forgiveness. Be gentle with yourself. Acknowledge your inner gentleness, and don't let anything of the material world command you or bring you down. You are God's light. You are a soul here to co-create and bring lots of love to the world. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. All right, guys. Have a good night.